Hello and welcome to The Reasons I'm Broke. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And for those of you joining us for the first time, this is a podcast where we talk about comic books, movies, video games, the things that make us broke throughout the week.
Mainly Batman things, if anything. You're going to see a pattern. We mainly talk about Batman the Animated Series and a lot of Superman loving Batman, although we didn't get too much of that this week.
We should rename our podcast The Reason Batman Made Me Broke.
We should.
It's true.
Yeah, we always kick it off with some news, though.
First up, we have something that we've been very excited for a long time, the Noah trailer. This is the next project that's directed by Darren Aronofsky, I think written by him as well.
Yeah, he wrote it along with someone else, actually.
And he's jumped in and jumped out of a few projects. We were sad to see him leave those, but so excited to see him working on something again.
Exactly. This is a director, personally my favorite director of all time, because he did do my favorite movie of all time. For you brokettes that don't know, it is The Fountain.
Da-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na. That's great music. But continue.
Yeah, it's really good. But he almost directed Batman Begins. He was one of the many directors that was billed for the movie that they were looking to get. And it would have been such a different movie if Aronofsky actually got behind it. His vision of Batman was actually not a rich man, not a rich Bruce Wayne, but actually someone that worked at a car garage fixing cars with his friend Alfred Pennyworth, who wouldn't really be his butler, but would still be a member of the family, the Wayne Family Foundation. Like, you know how Alfred worked with Batman's parents for years, and that's kind of what he was going to try to do, but in a car manufacturer, like, mechanic shop. So they were both going to be car mechanics, and from there they'd make the Batmobile and go out and kick ass, right? So he got off that project. Yeah, he wants to eventually make it into a comic book, but the way this director works is he's attached to a million projects and drops out of them all the time. Watchmen was another one he was attached to. The Wolverine movie, which would have been the best comic book movie of all time, in my opinion. Like, it would have been amazing.
It would have been. And if you guys haven't seen any of his work, I guess the most memorable one recently is Black Swan.
Yeah, Black Swan.
Which was great. He's a very intense director, which once you get used to that and really appreciate his work, totally worth it.
He also did Pi. He did The Wrestler, Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, Wrestler was great. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that was really good.
That was amazing.
But Black Swan was really the one that made him the most money, so that's why he got this giant project, which was Noah, and that was the reason why he dropped out of the Wolverine and RoboCop.
I'm really excited for Noah, though. We've seen some concept art, and now we've seen the trailer, and it looks like it's going to be... He almost makes it seem like it's this crazy man who turns out to be right. Like, people want to kill him because he's crazy, and then they want to kill him because he's right. And I'm like, oh, this is so amazing. But, forewarning, this is just how Aronofsky always is. Don't judge the movie by its trailer, because it's never what it's really about. For all I know, this could be a romance.
I always feel terrible for whoever has to make the trailers for his movies, because they're like, how do I sell this? Just like The Fountain. I remember me and my friends saw the trailer for The Fountain, and they made this trailer out to be like this was going to be some action movie with Mayans and Hugh Jackman, and that's why we originally saw it. Like, we love Hugh Jackman. He was the Wolverine. That's what everyone knew him as. And then we saw The Fountain, and it was not an action movie at all.
Not at all.
But I knew from that moment, like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is even better than what I imagined. So this Noah trailer, who knows what it's like you mentioned. Like, they put in the best shots of the movie. I'm sure, like, the more marketable shots of all the animals going into the ark, and then a little bit of action. But knowing Aronofsky, it's going to be a lot of some self-reflection of Noah the character and exploring the dark side of this character from the book.
So amazing. Cannot wait, but definitely we'll keep you guys posted as we hear more about it. Darren Aronofsky's Noah will be movie of the year. I'm calling it now. Give that man an Oscar.
Can't wait.
Hasn't even filmed it. Give him an Oscar.
He didn't get one for Black Swan.
He should have gotten one for Black Swan.
Yeah, Natalie
Portman got Best Actress.
Yeah, she did.
Who did he? He went up against King's Speech that year, though, didn't he?
I believe so.
King's Speech was a pretty good movie, too. But next up, we have the next two reasons why we're really broke this week.
Yeah.
First up, we did pick up the Zelda Wii U, finally.
This is the limited edition console that has the Wind Waker game and the Hyrule Historia digital download of the book.
It's a beautiful system. I love on the little touchscreen,
the gamepad thing.
With the gold and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's got the gold trim with the Hyrulean symbols as well as the Triforce on it. And even the buttons, I think if you look really closely, the buttons, the lettering is in like a little bit of a gold shading, whereas the rest of the controller is black. The system, though, didn't get anything on it. There's no black trim or golden trim on any of it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, whatever. Like, it's the same price as a regular Wii U, the deluxe edition, except you get the Zelda as a digital download, which I would have liked the physical copy instead. But, it's still a free game for what you're paying for the system. And there is an online-only, from what I've seen so far, a Wii U bundle with the Mario. Remember I called it earlier this year? That there was going to be a Mario bundle. It comes with New Super Mario Bros. U and the Luigi U, all in one pack. And it is actually a physical copy of the game. They'll probably have it for this holidays available at all retailers, not just online, because that's going to be another system seller. The Zelda one, limited edition, this Mario thing, everyone's going to be looking for it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One thing, I think the only thing we've played on it so far is Wii Fit U.
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun with that.
I couldn't wait to sync up my pedometer with it.
Then he couldn't wait to sync up mine. He's like, where's your DSXL? I got a 3DSXL. I gotta put your person in here. You gotta be here. Here's your pedometer. Now do these things. And I'm like, oh, this is so much fun. It is really cool. I love the pedometer because your little face pops up.
You're right.
And I'm like, oh, it's my face.
It's exactly like the Pokewalker. Just like we said, if you saw the unboxing video, it looks exactly like the Pokewalker, just in black and silver.
Yep, so much fun. I'm loving my hula hoop game. I'm gonna beat you at that
hula hoop master.
I am. I'm like, oh, lean over here, catch this hula hoop. Keep on going. I'm gonna lean over here and catch this one. Trying to trip me up, throw another one? Nope, gotcha.
And remember, Brocats, if you actually sync your Wii Fit U pedometer, you can still get it online. It is available on Amazon.com. If you sync it up with your Wii Fit U software download, which is a free trial right now, you actually get the rest of the game for free. So you don't get just the 30-day trial. It's unlimited. So you pretty much get the game for $20, like we mentioned in that unboxing.
Assuming that you still have the game board.
The Wii Fit board?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find those at, I mean, if you go to any GameStop, you see them piled up for like $20, $25 or something. Like there's always the one GameStop we go to, there's always like this mountain of Wii Fit boards.
I'm like, is that a bed? You guys take naps in here?
Is that holding up the gondola there? What's going on? No one wants
They turn
those Wii
it
Fit
into
boards.
a gondola to stack them just right.
So we're having a lot of fun with it. I think now with all the updates, I'm glad we waited like over a year, didn't get a launch console because it has all the latest updates. It runs smoothly. It's got the latest build and the actual hardware itself. And of course, we got a better game than Nintendo Land for free. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to see next year with the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Oh yeah, wait a year for all the consoles.
Mm-hmm. You'll get a year's worth of games to catch up on. I'm going to say my favorite feature so far with that Wii gamepad is actually the television, the Wii TV. Because we had forgotten your TV remote. We've been doing a bunch of crazy stuff recently.
Oh yeah.
But the television remote wasn't around. And I clicked the TV button on the gamepad and it asks you what kind of television do you have? And you type in like the first letters of whatever it is, so Samsung, Panasonic, Sony, whatever, and it pulls it up like, here you go, yes, okay. And you can turn up the volume, you can change the input, you can do power. So now I just turn on my Wii U, then I click TV and turn on the television. And like it's so much simple. It's a lot of fun. I don't know, it's like a little minute thing, but it makes it much
it's like
easier.
when I found out I had TV on my phone, I was like, let me just change the channels from my phone. But I've since then asked him, like, you want me to go grab the remote? Because I know where it is now. And he's like, no, I got my Wii U gamepad. I'm all good.
So it's a lot of fun. I haven't yet drawn on the Wii message board thing, which is what I've really wanted to do. And I also want to buy the Wii Art Academy because it's much easier to draw. I like the DSi version of it because I drew it on the DSi
you were
XL.
on that all the time.
Yeah, and I put up pictures on my DA and on Facebook and everything, and it was a lot of fun. But now with the Wii U gamepad, it's much bigger. They give you color pencil options, and as well as the paints, the pen, the marker, and everything. So I want to get that, and I can't wait for the full version to come out, which has all the lessons in it.
I want to draw a picture.
What are you gonna draw?
Buzz Lightyear. You guys don't know the story behind that. I'll draw you Buzz Lightyear and post it up. And you can see the awesomeness that is my Buzz Lightyear. Because I think I do a better job than Pixar.
You do. They should just animate your drawings.
They should.
So it's great. We're happy to have a Wii U, finally. I've been playing on my brother's, and now we have our own. Mm-hmm. We also got another Zelda-themed item this week. We got the 3DS XL, The Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds exclusive edition.
It's beautiful as well. Not as pretty as my Pikachu 3DS XL.
I don't know. It looks really nice.
No, my Pikachu one's better.
Mine's gold and black.
Mine is Pikachu.
Who's yellow and black. I like gold and black better. I like my Raichu colored 3DS XL.
But if you guys haven't had a chance to see the pictures of this yet, really, really nice. I loved the design. You have the gold on the top with the gold Triforce and the black on the bottom with the black Triforce and all gold on the inside. Really nice.
It reminds me of not the 3DS Zelda one that came out a couple years ago, but the DS Lite Zelda.
Which you have also.
Which I also have. So this came out, I'm like, this is perfect. Like, I love the gold color on consoles. I also like the lime green, which is a great color for consoles as well.
Yeah.
But gold and black, it just looks great. Like, there's no other way around it. I love that colored console. And this one came with a digital version of Link Between Worlds as well.
We got a lot of Zelda games. Maybe I should play one. Never played one before.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what I would start you off with. Ocarina of Time seems to be everyone's favorite. I haven't played it in years, though, so I don't know if it really holds up.
I don't even have time to beat Pokemon. How am I supposed to pick up a Zelda game? I have zero time.
Probably Link to the Past. That's probably the one I'd have you play.
Okay, do we have it? Look, do we have that one?
No, it's Link Between Worlds. It's actually like the sequel to Link to the Past. But Link to the Past was really good. It still holds up. It plays like a over-the-top Zelda game, kind of like the NES one, but with completely updated mechanics. It's quicker. You can do a lot more things, more items, great graphics. It's pretty much timeless.
Well, maybe if I quit my job and really be broke, then I can play this game.
But look for an unboxing for that Zelda 3DS XL. We should be doing one, even though I've been playing with it already. I'll go ahead and film it. We'll put it up on YouTube so everyone can take a look. As well as the unboxing for an item later on that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Right after we cover comics.
We're going to start off with our indie comics. Adventure Time number 22. This is written by Ryan North and Zach Smith with art by Shelley Paroline. We are continuing with the story where Bubblegum is taking over the Candy Kingdom. And all madness breaks loose, and there's Bubblegum zombies.
Right.
And Princess Bubblegum and Marceline.
Yeah, there's a lot of development there.
Yeah, but let's talk about the main story first. We'll get back to that.
This is essentially a zombie story featuring Bubblegum. Has nothing to do with Princess Bubblegum, really. I think she inadvertently created this zombie epidemic thing, but they all have, like, pink eyes, and they essentially turn into Ditto from Pokemon.
I think it's great. Really, if I had to be a zombie, I'd want to be a bubblegum zombie. Because they turn into zombies and they're like, oh man, everything's great. It's like they're high all the time, on bubblegum. So, not really bad, but Finn and Jake, really funny moments where they're like, oh man, they can tell we don't have pink eyes. They just wear... Jake morphs himself into 2 sunglasses for them. And then somebody's like, wait, your sunglasses are covered in dog hair.
That's not perfect.
And that's how they find out. So some really funny moments.
But on to that relationship between Marceline and Princess Bubblegum. We've seen them hint at that at the show. With the t-shirt, wasn't it? In the television show, where she had Marceline's t-shirt. And she used to sleep with it. And then you continued to get that in the comic book where she's still sleeping with Marceline's shirt. So they almost uncovered exactly what happened with their relationship in the past, but they didn't get to it.
but they said a lot of things like, you know, about us. She would say something like that, or hinting about their past. Right. You know, not just the past, their past. And I'm like, Invention Time, you sneakies.
If I had to guess, I would say Bubblegum was the one that broke up with Marceline.
I would guess as well.
But on to the next comic, Bravest Warriors number 14. This one's written by Brain Burns and Jason Johnson, with art by Mike Holmes.
I really like this one too. It was a really well told story, and I think Chris and Beth are like my favorite characters, and we get to see a lot of development with them, and now I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen?
Danny with his like technology beard was awesome.
Is it weird that I thought of you? Is it weird that you two have the same name? Who wrote this? I think somebody who knows us wrote this.
Because I have a beard and Danny had a beard, and he prides himself in his beard.
And you both have the same name. You do.
Both Hispanic.
Who's writing this book? Do you know a Breen Burns? Jason Johnson. That looks like a made-up name.
I know Johnson and Johnson, and I know a Mr. Burns. It's the closest we're gonna get,
Not
though.
the same. But this was great. We get to see Chris developing his emotion lord powers and the things that come with that, like reading people's minds and controlling Danny's nanotechnology beard.
Right.
Oh man, that was a great part with Wallow where he got a hold of the remote.
Yeah.
So what Danny, talking about his beard, he attached a little nanobot to every single hair follicle in his whole head. And he has a little remote control, and he pretty much, it's a time machine for his beard. So they speed up time so it grows really big, or they go back in time so it gets really small. And Wallow gets a hold of it, and hilarious. I was cracking up the whole time.
It was a really good issue. I don't think there were really too many bad issues this week, if any. Like, there was a lot of really good ones. One definitely stood out, but we haven't covered it yet. Do you have your pick of the week?
I do have my pick of the week. Do you have your pick of the week?
I do.
Okay, then.
Haven't touched upon it yet?
Nope.
All right. Next is Samurai Jack #2, written by Jim Zub and art by Andy Soriano. If you like Samurai Jack and you missed the show and you want to see it completed, do yourself a favor and pick up this issue because it touches up on the actual pace of the show. You have many panels where there's no dialogue, but he's traveling, or there's just action, just like in the show. It holds on a shot, just like on the show again. And at the same time, it does the comic book thing where you have your mini plot that covers the entire book as he goes towards his journey of collecting all of the time strands.
Like I said when we covered the first issue, I actually felt like I was watching an episode of the show. And to me, it seems like we're actually going to get closure that we didn't get from the show. That's what I hope will happen. Because Aku never died. He needs to die. The world needs to go back to normal.
While singing, "Brave soldier boy
Now I'm sad.
comes marching home."
Speaking of which, I don't think we talked about it last week. Maybe we did. When Uncle showed up in Korra.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that again. Uncle showed up in Korra, and I cried. But people have already seen the finale now, so they're like, really, Kelly, you're bringing this up again? Yes, because it made my month.
Yeah, we're behind on our TV shows, but we're going to catch up. We're going to watch that finale tonight. To this season 2 of Legend of Korra, which has been, honestly, it's been a little disappointing.
Yeah, agreed. We'll see what they can whip out with season 3, but I haven't been impressed with season 2.
What I'm curious to know is, are we not impressed with it because season 1 was so good? Or if this had been season 1, would we have been like, they shouldn't have tried to reboot the series?
I don't know. That would take some deep thinking, and I'm not sure that I'm ready to do that yet. But I think it would take some thinking because you would have to judge the season as the season itself. Because right now I'm judging it as the second season to a great first season, and the sequel to a fantastic, The Last Airbender.
Right.
So I would have to stop and actually look at it. I don't know. It would probably hold up then. But got off track. So sorry, guys. Next, we have The Simpsons Winter Wingdings #8. This was written by Max Davison with art by Shane Houghton and Jay Torres.
We're not picking up a lot of Simpsons books, but we are picking up the annuals, the quarterlies, not the monthlies, but these are still a lot of fun. A lot of the comics, the kids' comics especially, are coming out with their holiday issues now. We're going to see one from Adventure Time, I think, in a week or two. And the Winter Wingdings, I've always liked. I've liked the Winter Wingdings, more recently, the Treehouse of Horrors. Even though last year's was a lot more enjoyable, it's still nice to see different artists have their take on The Simpsons. But this one is consisting of a 3-story comic book for $4.99.
I thought it was worth it. It was pretty good. I did like our first story is the Bear Brigade. What did they call themselves?
Bear Patrol, I think?
No, the Bear Watch.
Something like that.
Something weird. And I haven't been following these that long, but it's actually a nod to #5. So 3 years ago is where they first premiered these guys. And they have little throwbacks to that where one of the guys is like, I don't know that I'd be good in your green and khaki uniform. And they're like, no, that's our summer shindig outfit. They actually said that. I was like, that's pretty clever, guys. So I did really like that. That was probably my favorite story of the 3 of them.
Anytime Homer works with other characters that are not in his family, so in this case it was Lenny, Carl, and Chief Wiggum, It's always funny to see how he actually works with them because he is like he's probably the dumbest in the group, but he always comes up with these brilliant plans, and you see it in the show every so often. Like the one where he was trying to teach Bart. He was trying to have Bart not be gay. I don't know if you remember that episode.
No, Bart was
He was
gay.
he was afraid that Bart was gay because he was picking up some mannerisms from one of Marge's friends. And it's the episode where Smithers catches him at the diner with the rest of the family, and he's like, "So this is your sick mother?"
Yeah,
And he's like, "Don't do this
I
to me,
remember.
Wayland."
It was great.
So he took him. So he, Lenny, Carl, I forgot who else was there. Might have been Barney. That was just a great episode, just to see the stupid shit they got into. And this is very similar to that. I was reminded of that. The second story in the Winter Wingding was of a Christmas in which Homer almost ruined by spending way too much money on those tablet games.
That was so much fun. He's like, he was playing some Santa game, and they're like, "Do you want reindeer help? It's only 99 credits." And he's like, 99 cents? Yeah, give me 20 of those puppies. Turned out to be $1 a credit.
You spend over $1,000.
Almost, it was like 1,800 and something. And
Yeah.
he's like, that's more than I had for presents.
So it makes him a present. A lot of these stories had that like message at the end, like Christmas is about family and the holidays is about spending time with them. So everything ended up really well for everyone. It's not your standard Simpsons issue in which by the end of it somebody ends up like being chased by whatever and they just kind of laugh at it. It was more like a happy ending for everyone involved. Except for one part with Flanders. They love to pick on Flanders.
Yep. And the final story was Mr. Burns trying to be an undercover boss.
By putting on a little mustache.
Little mustache. And Homer fell for it and told him that this place sucks and we don't get anything and da-da-da. So Mr. Burns goes, fine, now you really don't get anything, charging him $20 to go to the bathroom and all this kind of stuff. And so everybody goes on strike. They end up remedying it with a pizza party. Mm-hmm. And classic Mr. Burns, he's like, who is this Pete? And then they finally say, he figures out it's pizza, and he goes, you mean those Italian flapjacks?
I love Mr. Burns. Like,
he's great.
one of my favorite characters. Probably my top 3 favorite Simpsons characters is Mr. Burns. And when you combine him with Homer, you've heard it tons of times. It's just some of the favorite episodes. Like I think it was the $1 trillion bill one.
Yes.
If you ever see that
great.
one, I loved it. And they go to Cuba.
Next, we have a series that I was a little conflicted on last time, but I think they won me over with this one. It's The Accelerators #4. It's written by Ronnie Porto with art by Gavin Smith.
This is the comic, once again, that they promoted a lot on the AMC TV show Comic Book Men, and also on the We Sell Comics podcast.
For those of you who don't know what it's about, it's pretty much a time travel story where these characters get pulled into the future where they pull people from the past just to kill each other, essentially.
Exactly. We're learning more about this story. What I like, the Amanda Waller character,
Yes.
if you will.
Bob is her name.
Yeah, the way these donuts work is they can only go forward in time. So you can only travel forward just like in real life, but they're able to do it at a quicker pace. Except your body doesn't age, you just travel forward in time. So what they do is they call it fishing, where they pull people from the past forward into their coliseum, and when they get a good candidate for their stadium, that's when they put them into the fights. And that's what we learned in this issue. And the art's still, kind of okay. The writing has improved, though, from that first issue.
Agreed. I very much like we get to see the present and the past at the same time. I always talk about this. I love when comic books do this, and when they do it well. And I felt that they did it well in this one. We get some mystery with who's really starting this organization.
Right.
Because we don't know. We still got this random 90s kid, 80s kid. Where's he from? I don't know. He's weird.
Listening to Nirvana.
Yeah. I did really, really like their explanation of why they can't pull important figures from the past, though.
Yeah.
That was great, because the kid's saying, you're doing this fishing. What happens if, you pull somebody important? Isn't that going to change the history? Or, change the past? And she goes, history's already done. It's not going to change anything, because it's already been done.
Right. It never happened, so it never will happen, because we're already at this point right here.
Right. Because the example he brings up, well, can I pull Abraham Lincoln? And she goes, you can try, but it's not going to work, because we would have history saying that he disappeared at this time. If you were going to be able to, you just can't do it. I thought that was really well thought out.
I always like when comics try to point out the logic and like time travel when they create their own rules to it. And it's so much fun to see what each writer, what each artist has in mind when they do these kind of stories. Mm-hmm. And the final book from our indie books this week, Red Sonja #5. It's written by Gail Simone and art by Walter Giovanni. Red Sonja's still recovering from her illness, and she's using like ancient science to try to heal her of this plague. Like there's like a giant leech that she puts on her belly, and
so gross. I do really like though the guy who's trying to heal her understands that this is science, and she's like, "Oh, these wizards."
Yeah, that was funny. Mm-hmm. I think I like that Gail Simone writes her as such a like rough character, but she's smart also. But then when it comes to other things, she's still like, I know this works, but I don't understand it, so I'm just gonna call it magic.
Exactly. This is leading up to... Actually, the ending was really startling. I don't want to give that away.
Her relationship with the main antagonist of this book, that's what Gail is really playing up on, because there is going to be a common enemy, and we're going to see the result of that in a couple of issues.
It's going to be awesome. Gail is such a great writer.
Yeah, she's doing really good on Red Sonja. That and Batgirl I really like. You really like the movement as well.
She writes such strong female characters. But really, if you guys aren't following it, we should get a trade soon.
Give it like another 6 months. It's going to be a while. They usually
Okay.
like to put 6 to 7 issues of trade.
That's dumb. Well, guys, wait 6 more months and get the trade. Definitely worth picking up if you haven't followed it up to this point and you can't pick up the previous issues.
I especially like the different costumes, too, on Red Sonja. It's not just the standard, like, chainmail bikini.
Gail understands women and that we don't wear the same things every day.
You especially like Red Sonja's, like, hooded outfit with, like, the bird.
I really want to cosplay as her. Be awesome.
It's not that difficult, I don't think.
No chainmail bikini. It's too much work. You gotta work out and stuff. I don't got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. But I think that's it for our indies. We're gonna move into Marvel. We have Superior Spider-Man Annual #1. This one's written by Christos Engage with art by Javier Rodriguez.
It looks like Dan Slott took a break for this one, for the annual. We'll see him again in like a week when this book comes out again. But this annual, it continues the rougher Superior Spider-Man, the Doc Ock that is willing to almost torture and kill and...
Not almost torture. Not almost.
Yeah, he does torture.
He definitely tortures.
He goes a step further than what Batman would do. He's like a Bat Spider-Man, but a little bit... One that Batman would not approve of, and just hit him once, knock him out. Sorry, Superior Spider-Man, you are not superior to Batman.
Well, yeah, because in the list of how things go, you have, good, superior, and then Batman.
Good, superior, godly, and then Batman.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, Chuck Norris somewhere underneath Batman.
Godlike, godly, a god, and then Batman.
Bat-like.
It was a really great story, though. Very good pacing, I felt. Mm-hmm. Really got to see him trying to be superior and really kind of lacking towards the end of... And that's something that I really, really liked in the beginning. He was trying to be really good. And you can see as Peter Parker has faded away, he's just kind of getting worse and worse and worse.
Right.
And I think it's going to lead up to a big climax where he's going to have to be taken out.
The way that Aunt May also was used in this was very effective, because you point out... The book is good to point out that this Spider-Man is not a Spider-Man that your average citizen would approve of. This is a Spider-Man that they fear as much as the villains.
Exactly.
Because they see him on television all the time. He's always talking to the citizens as if he's watching all of them, and he is, with the little spider bots. But they're also seeing how violent he gets with criminals. And his logic is, murderers shouldn't be allowed to get away with murder. They should be killed as well. And that's what we see from this Spider-Man. And this villain that we see, Blackout, I almost felt bad for him.
I did too. And we shouldn't, but I definitely did. But he got the turnaround that he wanted, so guess it all worked out.
And for the first listener to head over to marvel.com/redeem, read it for yourself. Let us know what you thought on Twitter @ReasonsI'mBroke. Type in the following code:
TMM41C27FA62.
Once again, that is the Superior Spider-Man Annual #1.
Great book. Definitely let us know what you think.
And on to DC Comics.
Ooh, my favorite DC Comics. That should be their theme song. Done, written. Where's my money?
Batman and Two-Face number 25, written by Peter J. Tomasi, art by Pat Gleason and Mick Gray. The cover, first of all, my favorite cover this week. It's got a very obvious throwback to Batman the Animated Series, holding up a coin, a Two-Face coin with Kelli on it. Although she's not really... Was it Kelli or was it our villain?
No, it was probably our villain.
Okay.
Dan, all redheads don't look the same. Thank you.
But this is actually my pick of the week as well.
Really? Your pick of the week?
Yeah. Batman and Two-Face number 25.
I could see it. It was very well written.
Well written, well drawn, good Alfred moments, good Batman moments.
Great Alfred moments.
Like I don't want to spoil this book hardly. This new villain, her name is Erin, is the one that helped create Two-Face. Mm-hmm. And we get the beginnings of the origin. We saw the origin in the last issue, but you really see what drives her to create Two-Face, to do what she did to Harvey Dent. And the way that Harvey Dent also summons the Batman by melting half of the bat signal.
So cool.
That's awesome.
So cool. We do get some, really good Batman moments, like you said. We get to see something that I didn't think we were going to see from Bruce. Mm-hmm. And I think that leads to a big backstory. And she just needs to back off because he belongs to Catwoman.
It's no surprise that the female villain in any Batman universe, at one point Batman hooked up with that.
Well, Batman hooked up with like everything.
Every woman.
Every woman.
Except for Superman. So is this your pick of the week, though?
It is not.
It's so good.
It was good. It's not my pick of the week.
For shame.
Don't shake your head at me. You don't know me. You worry about yourself.
Worry about yourself.
We are not the same person, which is what makes us able to have a podcast. If we were the same person, we'd be like, yeah, it was cool. And then we'd be over and gone. It'd be like a 2-minute podcast.
Most of it would be the opening.
Next we have... Why do you make me laugh? Stop it.
Another Batman book coming up here.
We have Batman Beyond Universe number 4, written by Kyle Higgins and Christos Engage, with art by Tony Silas and Ivan Coelho.
You have your Justice League Beyond story in here. Remember, this is a digital first comic. And then you have the Batman Beyond story in the back. That one's written by Kyle Higgins, who also writes the Nightwing stories.
Both I thought were very good. We get to see the conclusion of Superman in the Phantom Zone fighting Zod wannabe.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but he was
Zaxel or something.
Yeah, something weird. And really sweet ending, I thought. We'll see where it goes. Could lead to little baby Zod.
Yeah, we do have Zod Beyond make his appearance in this Batman Beyond story.
Who knows if he'll be evil, though. He could be the new Superboy. That would be pretty badass.
Is the new Justice League growing on you?
A little bit. I really like that Terry's acting more like Bruce. More like a Bruce Batman. Right. Than he was when he was in Batman Beyond. He was
more like Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was really immature and just kind of a brat. And I just want to be like, shut up. Put Bruce back.
He was like a mix of Nightwing and Tim Drake.
Nightwing. Just Nightwing.
He was just Nightwing.
But I do like that we're getting to see him kind of mature and begin to understand what it means to be Batman. Right. And to act as Batman. We get to see Superman can actually fight. Oh, that's right, because he learned from Batman by watching him awesome. From like around a corner.
He bragged about it in the last month's issue. He's like, I was trained by the best.
He did.
Which makes sense. It seems, I would say that Batman would want to, if Superman asked Batman to train with him, I think Batman would. Batman has an ego, so he would allow, like, I will train this alien Superman. Like,
I guess he does have a contingency plan, so.
And what I like about these Batman Beyond books, like, I know it's not in Universe where it happened, it was in the previous one, but that backstory to Big Barda, like, it made me like the character more. So when they do that with these characters.
That was really good.
And you saw,
really good moment.
If you read that origin, you saw that put to use in this comic book when she says, I've been through worse pain, I can withstand this.
I went through it every day.
And you know what she's talking about without directly referring to it. If you're a longtime reader, you're like, oh, that's so cool.
I also thought it was really interesting what they did with Aqua Girl. The fact that, she can't control water in the Phantom Zone, but her physiology is made to withstand the pressure of
That's
the
true.
bottom of the ocean. So can you imagine the strength when she's up here that she has?
Exactly.
That was really cool that they tied that in. They explained, I mean, I guess except for Warhawk, they explained kind of how everybody can fight and still be okay without their powers, which I think is great for a superhero. They need to have that quality.
And they're very good at not just making these like the beyond version of that superhero. Like Big Bart is not just Wonder Woman in the future,
Right.
or Green Lantern also in the future. These are their own separate characters that they're trying to really build on from the show with what they had to work with, and now they're giving them really good backstories that the animated series never had a chance to do.
Our second story within that is the Batman Beyond story. We get to see Nightwing, Robin.
Yeah, Robin. Kyle Higgins, of course, loves Nightwing, so he has to
Old
put him in these
man
stories.
Robin. But I am really liking what he's doing with him. I do like the fact that he's back working with Batman. I like the fact that both he and Terry realize that they will never be as good as Bruce. Bruce solved the mystery from the cave as an old man who just had a liver transplant
Right.
in a cave.
Exactly.
And he's just like, here's the file. Go save things.
Whatever. I would have had this done a long time ago.
Exactly. Exactly. But we do get to see a lot of what makes Terry different from Bruce in a way that I think Bruce wishes that he could be, where he can step away from the cape and cowl and just be with his family and be with the people that he needs to be with.
Mm-hmm.
But about the actual story. So it was about taking down Livewire, which was really creepy, but he takes these drugs and turns into a maniac and they stop him somehow.
Yeah, this was the final part of the arc. It looks like they're making a new Legion of Doom type of, like a Beyond version of them. Mm-hmm. And this seems to be one of the first pieces of that team.
We get to see a lot from Ghoul, the Joker guy.
Right.
A lot of him kind of helping people and moving people around and doing some things. I think he's going to be kind of the lead of that Legion.
Yeah, we'll see what Kyle Higgins has planned for the Batman Beyond universe.
Good stuff, I'm sure.
This next one is Forever Evil Arkham War number 2. It's part of a 6-part miniseries. It's written by Peter J. Tomasi, who's been knocking it out of the park with the Batman and Robin, again, my pick of the week. And the art is by Scott Eaton and Jaime Mendoza.
I don't think I was too thrilled with this one.
See, I really like this one.
Really?
Yeah, the Man-Bat part at the beginning.
The Man-Bat part was really cool, but it's just like a bunch of people fighting, and then Penguin just kind of being Penguin and putting people against each other, and Scarecrow being Scarecrow, and people doing things, and now we got some Talons. That's all I took away from this.
See, I see more like Man-Bat. They're all fighting, in the basic story is they're all fighting for Arkham. All these Bat villains. They're all fighting for Arkham, they're fighting for Gotham, for their each of their parts, like their ganglands or whatever, and Bane wants all of it. Meanwhile, Man-Bat actually wants to put a stop to all of this because he idolizes Batman and he feels like he should be the Batman of Gotham now that Bruce Wayne isn't around because of the Forever Evil events. So he's doing his best. He's actually has a whole army of Man-Bats that he's using to try to get rid of these Talons so that Bane is essentially disarmed so he can't use them. And Bane, meanwhile, still wants control of everything, using Penguin as a partner for this.
Yeah, okay.
See, I like the reversal of the roles of the villains. Some of them step up and become heroes, or attempt to, like Man-Bat in this case. He's trying to be Batman. Something that I didn't like about this though was how they took some parts of The Dark Knight Rises, the movie, and they applied it to Bane's character in this.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. Like some of the designs, they put like those straps on his chest just so he can hang on to it.
Which I don't even know what he did in the movie.
Yeah, just had his hands there.
It's
like
not really that comfortable.
Tom Hardy, yeah.
Not really, but okay.
And he did this in the comic. I'm like, leave the movie versions in the movies and just leave it at classic comic book Bane. If you want a New 52 Bane, fine, but just suddenly have him... Let's put these straps on him so his hands can go there. It's kind of silly.
These pockets are for my hands. And my goldfish. He gets hungry taking over Gotham.
Yeah, and at one point he even like grabbed Penguin's hand and like gently held it, and
You
kind of
have
like
such soft skin.
it was very much like that part in Dark Knight Rises where he has his hand on the one guy and he says, "Do you feel like you're in control?" or whatever
And
that
then
line
he
was.
squishes his head.
Yeah.
Gross.
So that was the one part I did. I was just like, just leave. The movie's not even new. It's been over a year now.
Exactly, yeah.
So
Wow.
whatever though. It's
Has
a
it
minimal
been?
complaint. Yeah, it's been a while. But overall, I'm liking the Arkham War. I think it's a good tie-in to the Forever Evil series, and probably the best of them. Even though we haven't been reading Rogues Rebellion, the reviews on Arkham War have been the best of the three.
Finally, drum roll please. My pick of the week. And you know you saw it coming, so don't chastise me for not picking the Batman 2. You know you saw it coming.
I'm surprised.
You really? Mm-hmm. Really? Really?
Because we were both so against the New 52 version of this character.
Really? You're
But
surprised?
in these hands...
You're surprised. We have Harley Quinn #0. This is written by Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti with a whole bunch of artists. Hang on with me while I read these out for you. We have Amanda Connor, Becky Cloonan, Tony S. Daniel, Sandu Florea, Stefan Rue, Dan Panosian, Charlie Adlard, Adam Hughes, Art Baltazar, Walt Simonson, Jim Lee, Scott Williams, Bruce Timm, Trad Moore, Dave Johnson, Jeremy Roberts, Sam Keith, Darwin Cook, and Chad Hardin.
The last one, Chad Hardin, will be the artist of the ongoing Harley Quinn series.
Which he has done a very good job. I thought it was well drawn. Okay, with names like those, you got some big ones in there. Bruce Timm, Darwin Cook, Art Baltazar, Adam Hughes, Jim Lee.
Sort of.
I like Adam Hughes.
No, Jim Lee, sort of.
Oh, Jim Lee, sort of. That was great. That was great. How could you not think this would be my pick of the week?
I don't know if you would have liked this version of the character, but it looks like you did.
Paul Dini liked this version of the character.
It's true. On Twitter, he loved it.
I thought it was very, very cute. It was very Harley. You get... And I was kind of confused at first, but you have Amanda and Jimmy breaking that fourth wall, talking with Harley throughout this. And you get to see all these different artists. And it almost felt to me like they came to these artists and they go, draw Harley in whatever situation you want. And then they went through and rewrote the dialogue to what they wanted it to be. And it still flowed really well. And it was a really cute story. And I was very nostalgic because I got to see art that, you know, you got to see this Harley back in Bruce Timm's hands.
Yeah, from Mad Love.
And which I loved that he had a naked Harley in there.
Of course.
And Harley in a nightgown.
Because it's Bruce Timm.
Exactly. He threw Ivy in there too because it's Bruce Timm. But, you know, Darwin Cook. You get to see all these great artists that we love and some ones that we didn't know of that we got to be introduced to. And some of the art was great. I love the one where she was a secretary. I don't remember who drew that one.
That was Dan Panosian.
Great. I thought it was amazing. And then her new costume didn't bother me as much as it did in
Suicide Squad.
And then I love that they brought up Suicide Squad. They're like, what's Suicide Squad? Is this what you do? And that's where those panels that I submitted my entry for and didn't get chosen, even though my entry was better than the guy that they chose. It really was.
Yeah, that controversial page, and we talked about it before, how it was... People were reacting for no reason, following DC at panels at New York Comic Con and being like, you're sexualizing suicide. My friend killed themselves and it's not funny and you're making it sexy. And guess what? In context, they weren't making fun of people that killed themselves.
Not at all.
They should have read the fucking book before they flew off the handle. And unfortunately, that did cause the editorial team or whoever decided to change it, where the last panel, which was originally Harley Quinn in a bathtub naked with a bunch of toasters and electronics about to fall on her for her to kill herself, that was removed in this comic book.
She's on a rocket ship in space.
Yeah, which didn't make as much sense as the other panels
Right.
that were in that page.
We'll just tape over that panel that I drew. Almost matches the guy's art.
Pretty
Almost
much.
exactly. It's like
but better.
same, yeah, a little bit better. So it might overshadow the rest of it. But we'll just tape that there, and then it'll be like we never lost it.
Those pictures are still on Twitter, by the way. If you go,
Don't look at them.
Gail Simone liked them. She retweeted,
Really?
I think, like 2 of them.
Good for me. I am too good for this podcast now. I am a guest on your show.
Plus, you and Gail Simone are pals.
We're like best buds.
Yeah.
Met her at MegaCon. It was awesome.
I share a lot of the same exact compliments of this book. It was good to see Harley Quinn in different costumes, including her original one. Even the Suicide Squad costume was in there. But when you see these great artists like Darwin Cook, of course, his Catwoman was in there too. He had that awesome Catwoman run. And then Bruce Timm. It's been so many years since you've seen Bruce Timm really draw Harley in a comic book. And to see that again, us being fans of the animated series, it's just wonderful. Even though the rest of the series you won't see these artists come back or anything like that. Hopefully they'll do another issue like this, maybe in the annual. Bring back some more artists. Let's do this again. It was a lot of fun. But to see the character be light and funny and charming, not quite up to Paul Dini standards because she didn't have like that Brooklyn accent or anything. But I think Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner can really put Harley back in the right direction after whatever happened in the New 52 with Suicide Squad.
I agree. I feel like we're finally back to what Harley was. I didn't feel like we were seeing Harley in Suicide Squad. I don't know what that was. Is that going to be like a Lobo thing where it was an imposter? I hope so. But it was great to finally see Harley come back into who she was. And one thing I did want to mention also that I loved about this is we see all these different artists, and with breaking that fourth wall, they kind of make fun of the artists too. Like, yes. Oh man, this is great. But can they keep up with a monthly? I don't think so. Or we get to Art Baltazar. And why does this look like it was drawn by a 7-year-old? Like, stuff like that. It was really great to see that they could make fun of the artists that way and keep it light and keep it really entertaining and funny for me. But every page was like opening a Christmas present because it's what am I going to see next? Who am I going to see next? It was amazing.
And I'm sure they had a lot of fun working with the artists. Like, what can we say about you that you wouldn't be too upset about and you can draw it? And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this book as well. Not my pick of the week, but I loved it. Something to keep note of is that the rest of the series won't be like this. If you see at the very end, the last panel, it says, we won't be breaking the fourth wall with Harley Quinn #1. It's actually going to be a story-driven book. But this was like a sampler of all the different tones that they're going to be hitting with this book.
Exactly. And I think it really draws people in, too. You know, if you had opened up the series with, let's start out a story, it's harder to pull people in. I am drawn in right away. I'm like, I can't wait till next month when I get the next one. It's awesome.
Do we have a pass of the week for our comics this week?
You're making me do work. I don't think so.
Me neither. No pass of the week.
I think I liked them all. Just to touch up again, my pick of the week was Harley Quinn #0.
And mine was Batman and Two-Face #25.
And lastly, one more thing that made us broke this week, and we talked about it last week that we were going to pick it up. We have the Batman black and white statue by Greg Capullo.
This follows the Death of the Family black and white line that they did of these two statues. The first one was the Joker. You saw the unboxing on our YouTube channel. This next one is Greg Capullo's Batman with his signature chin for Batman, that rounded giant chin. That's awesome.
Really awesome statue. It's going to look great next to our Joker. We should build a fireplace so that we can put it on the mantle.
With the Death of the Family Joker face comic in between them, that would look great on display.
Be awesome.
But this one is running at $79.95 right now.
Worth it.
Probably already sold out at most places, but look for our unboxing on YouTube. Just search on our YouTube channel, The Reasons I'm Broke. Make sure to subscribe. We'll have an unboxing video this week.
Yep, absolutely. But I think that's actually going to do it for us this week. Make sure you guys check us out on Twitter at Reasons I'm Broke. Let us know what made you broke this week. #Reasons I'm Broke.
Also on iTunes, don't forget to subscribe on there. Leave us a review, leave us a comment. It helps other people, other listeners find us.
And if you don't have iTunes, you can stream us straight through your Android phone through IPP Podcast. Just type in The Reasons I'm Broke. We'll pop up with all our episodes.
Thank you for joining us again this week. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
See you next week.